Hello everyone and welcome to my long-awaited review. Seriously, I am so sorry and thank you so much for your patience. I just wanted to really give this palette a chance before I reviewed it. I didn't want to just use it a couple times and then tell you my thoughts. I wanted to be able to use this for like at least a month and then give you my in-depth thoughts and everything, since this palette does get so much hype on YouTube. So much. If you haven't read the title of this video and everything, this is going to be my review on the Morphe 35O palette. Yes, the very, very famed, very talked about eyeshadow palette from Morphe. Now, I had never tried anything from Morphe. I really didn't know what to expect with this, other than it was going to be a huge honking eyeshadow palette with eyeshadows apparently made of gold. And by that I mean people just love these eyeshadows. Like, apparently they're the best things ever, they're cheap, but they still perform super duper well. So, you know, I went into it kind of skeptical because usually when things like this are hyped on YouTube, it's like, it's usually not as good as people say it is. And then also a lot of people, I don't know if it was just like a specific period of time or like what the deal was exactly, but when I said that I had first ordered the Morphe palette or whatever, a lot of people left me comments and stuff saying like, oh no, when they ordered their Morphe palettes, like it was packaged really poorly, it ended up getting to them and then broken or just lost in the mail or whatever, etc, etc. Like, there were quite a few comments, like enough comments to give me a bit of concern that there was going to be some broken shadows, like a broken palette when it finally got to me. But thankfully for me anyways, you know, the shipping was good, an average amount of shipping time, I mean 5 to 7 business days probably, and also it was very well bubble wrapped. I mean, I even shot, and I'm showing you the footage here. It was very bubble wrapped, it was very secure, I was very happy with the packaging of it, you know, it didn't come to me broken or shattered or none of the above. It was very good, I had no problems with the packaging personally. And then also what some people have been saying when I did mention this palette in a best and worst of beauty video, you know, quite a few people, when I mentioned the packaging issue or whatever, quite a few people said, you know, they didn't have any problems either. So I don't know if this is just a problem that maybe they have fixed since, you know, this palette has become very, very popular. I mean, they have it limited on their website. You can only buy 3 at a time or like per individual. So I don't know, maybe they just studied their game, whatever, but you know, I figured it was worth mentioning. It's only 23 bucks and then you have to pay for shipping. But tons, I shouldn't say tons, but quite a few YouTubers and stuff seem to have like 10% off codes for Morphe. So I mean, just Google Morphe 10% off code and, you know, Retail Me Not and all that stuff. They'll pop up. Otherwise, you know, if you watch a YouTuber that you know has a code, you know, use that. Support your favorite YouTubers. That's great too. I think with shipping and everything, this ended up being around like 26 or 28 bucks for me. I mean, less than $1 a shadow. You know, it's called the 35O palette because 35. It's got 35 eyeshadows in here. This whole thing altogether is 56.2 grams, so I don't know how much. I'll do the math and I'll put it on the screen here so you can see how many grams are in each one of these shadows and then compare it to, you know, maybe something that you would get in a Too Faced palette or an Urban Decay palette or something. You know, but either way, less than $1 a shadow. I'm a-okay with that. But I would not be okay with that if these were crappy quality. They're pretty good, you guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and especially for the price, like, I really don't have many complaints about these. I have some complaints, but really not many. A lot of these are very soft and smooth. None of them are like creamy or anything. The mattes are really good quality for mattes. They really, at least for me, I haven't had any problems with them going on streaky or anything. And if they do go on streaky, these all blend out so nicely. Like, these are very blendable shadows, which I very much so appreciate, especially with like some of the darker shades and stuff. And especially just because, you know, I'm not a makeup artist, so anything that makes putting my makeup on easier and making looks easier, I appreciate. And I think the color selection is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, this is one of those palettes where like, this scared me. These scared me. They still kind of scare me, but like, this palette really did push me to kind of go out of my comfort zone and everything, to really try out some shadows that I wouldn't normally try, you know, like a red and cranberries and oranges. Like, that's not in my comfort zone at all. And I know I'm very neutral on the eyes today. It's just one of those days. I filmed 3 looks where I used like some of these colors and everything, so that'll be at the end of the video. And yeah, whenever I did use these eyeshadows, you guys gave me tons of compliments compliments down in the comments of my videos, like really, really cheering me on, like you liked the things that I made with these. So my cons are definitely that these are very powdery. Like they definitely have a ton of kickback and you have to tap off your brush before you put them on you. I mean, you don't have to. I shouldn't say you have to, but if you don't want fallout, you have to tap off your brush. Even if you're just doing a little dab in there for like a crease blender or something, tap it off. That stuff is gonna fall out everywhere all over your face. Like these are very messy. That's not my favorite thing in the world. It can be dealt with, but like, meh. And then also, do I need all of these colors? No. I mean, there are so many in here that are like similar enough. Did I need these two right here? No. Did I need those both? No. Are they different? Yeah. But did I need both of those? Absolutely not. And then like these two. Beautiful matte browns. And like, are they different? Yes, for sure. But did I need them both? No. I really didn't. Same with these two, and just, I could go on. There are a lot of shadows in here where I'm like, did I need both? No. And especially for me, like, I know this doesn't bug a lot of people, and I'm sure for like makeup artists and stuff, definitely doesn't bug them because they need little variations like that in their makeup, but like, when I'm buying makeup and I'm just using it on me, which is what I do with all of my makeup, I don't need those little nuances and those little variances in colors. And also, big palettes like this, it's so much choice, like so much choice. You know, and like that's great, but at the same time, in the morning when I'm still half asleep and everything and trying to put on makeup, I don't want to have to deal with this. You know, I don't want to have to sit there and be like, which one do I use on my lids today? Which one do I use in the crease today? I feel like, and I've said this before, but I feel like this is definitely like something that's an actual business model where like you give people a few choices. Because people like to feel like they made the decision, you know? Like they had a choice of A, B, or C. They were able to like see the pros and cons of all three of them and then they pick which one they want in the end. But if you give people like A through N, you know, I don't need 30 I know that's not 30, but like, I don't need 30 different things to choose from, and it just gets overwhelming, and then the customer usually just doesn't pick anything at all. They say, oh, I don't want to deal with this now, like, I'll come back to it later, like, it's too much for me to think about right now. And that's how I feel about palettes like this. I mean, if I hadn't been forcing myself to use this palette every single day, would I have reached for it? Sometimes, yeah, sure, because there are some of these shadows that I have like fallen in love with, you know, like I love this shade, I love this shade, like there are some like really good standout stars in this palette that make me say, let's use the Morphe 35O today. But it's not every day and it's not often. Especially me, like, being someone who reviews stuff here on YouTube. Like, I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, so, like, I would rather go to, like, a 6-pan palette or a 10-pan palette or whatever, and just go with that rather than a 35-pan palette. I mean, that's just a personal preference, but I mean, that's definitely a big, big factor, you know? For a big palette. But like, hey, if you're just starting out with makeup, or like I said, if you are a makeup artist, or etc., these are your kind of colors or something, you know, this is probably awesome for you. Like, tons of bang for your buck. These are actually good shadows. So there's just pros and cons to consider. You know, the packaging is really cheap. Like, you're not paying $100 for this palette. Like, it's just a plastic, and it's the kind of plastic that like gathers all of the fingerprints. And then also, you know, as I'm sure you've been able to see, there's no mirror in here, which is really annoying. But again, you're not paying a ton for this, so like, they probably would have had to up the cost to put a mirror in here. The closure and everything on here is nice. I mean, it closes just fine, and it's easy enough to open even with my big fake nails, and you know, it feels secure when you do pop it closed. It's also very thin, which is great, you know, compact, but it is like tall and everything. So, you know, just lots of things to consider, but I think overall it is a good palette. I do understand where the hype comes from, and I've been able to create some beautiful looks with this palette. I mean, some of the ones that I filmed at the end here are like favorite looks that I've ever done. Like, I think they turned out really nice. So I appreciate the palette for what it's worth. I'm happy to have it in my collection. Is it like my die-hard, like this is the one, this is the only palette I ever want in my life? No. But it's a good palette and I do like it for what it is. Like, I don't feel like I wasted my money or anything, you know? And also in terms of longevity with the eyeshadows, I mean, I have to use an eye primer. I really do, because my lids are oily and anything creases on me. Even like the most expensive, luxurious eyeshadows, they're gonna crease on me. So I do have to use a primer, and I do like to use a base just to intensify the colors and everything. But the longevity of the shadows with a primer is fantastic. I mean, I put these on at 8 in the morning, I wear them until midnight, you know, that's not often, but like I could wear them for a very, very, very long time, and in like a very humid day and very activity filled day, they will still look beautiful at the end of the day, you know. If it's an extra intense day, there might be the slightest bit of creasing, but it's very minimal, and really the shadows look pretty much just as beautiful at the end of the day as when I put them on. So yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. I feel like I covered all of the bases. Hopefully this video was helpful for you guys, and of course I hope you look forward to seeing the looks that I create at the end here. But if this video was helpful and or enjoyable for you, please do go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. And if you're new here, hey, hi, hello, how are you? You can go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more content from me in the future. I would love to have you here. And as always, I just hope you guys are all doing well, and until next time, just stay well until then.